As much as you can talk about with NFL prospects, especially as you get to day 2 and especially day 3 on the draft, certain traits or characteristics or skill sets that you're looking for, as important as those things might be, team fit, system fit, scheme fit, utilization, all matter. They all matter. How much they matter can depend on the team and the situation, but the situation that you put into, the system that you're under, the coaching that you get can make all the difference. And when I look at running back prospects this year and I look and say, based on how they're utilized and where they're utilized, this guy could either really outplay his draft position by a big amount or flame out of the league very, very quickly. Israel Abanikanda fits that mold for me because there's absolutely a place for him in the NFL. And in the right situation, he could be a top 3 or 4 running back from this class when you look back at his NFL career. But if he's put in the wrong situation, he could be largely irrelevant and another 4th-round running back we forget in 4 years. Let me talk about his game, though, and what kind of stands out to me and how I think about him at the NFL level. This is a guy that's a former, high-level high school sprinter. So he's got initial straight-line burst that gets him to top speed very quickly. Sometimes when you look at some of these track guys, the track speed may or may not always translate well to the football field. I think in Abanikanda's case, at least in terms of his initial burst and quickness, it does. I see that, 60-meter speed reflect and manifest in his run. He's also got the long speed to be a home run threat. He's not going to outrun every single body on the defense. No, he's not going to do that. But he can run by enough people, especially once he gets to top speed. He's going to be a little harder to run down. He's a home run threat. He's a guy that could make some big plays happen, some game-changing plays happen as a runner. He's also really good at making subtle cuts, like I said, planting the outside leg and then getting skinny and up the field. He's good at making those subtle cuts and attacking the hole. And again, I have to say, it strikes me this year perhaps more than ever, and maybe it's just because I'm getting old, dumb, weirder, probably all. How many references to sex-related things there can be when we're talking about the draft prospects? He gets good penetration. He attacks the hole. He's got short area burst. I mean, if you really wanted to do this, this all sounds like homoerotic football fiction. Unbelievable. Anyways, enough of that diatribe. I thought Abanikanda did one thing really well that some younger running backs especially could struggle with. They want to bail out of the shorter run that may be available up the middle because they think a bigger play can happen, so they get happy to kind of bounce it outside. I thought he did a good job of recognizing when it was appropriate to break a run outside, wasn't too overly reliant on it, in my opinion. He's got good vision to be able to see where the hole is. Another thing about Abanikanda, especially with his kind of physical running style, he's got less than 450 career touches, so there's very low mileage on his tires. Furthermore, his hands are solid as a pass catcher. I don't think he was utilized nearly enough as a pass catcher at Pittsburgh, but the hands are there. There's a bit of a foundation there if you're looking for a potential 3-down back that you could get on day 3. He also has some experience as a kick returner, so especially as a rookie, if you're looking to bring him in as a running back 2 or running back 3, and you're saying, hey, we need somebody as a kick returner that's got some big playability, Abanikanda's got that. Here's what keeps me from really fully endorsing him and talk about the concerns about fit. There's not much agility or shiftiness to his game. He's not going to make a lot of defenders miss. He's just not. He's also really impatient and will run into his line. You saw some plays where he would just crash into his offensive lineman's backs. He's not allowing his blocks to develop. He gets a little antsy. He gets impatient. Furthermore, when you talk about his physical running style, there's not much natural power or pop to him. And what I mean by that is he has to really be moving it downhill almost full speed to be able to run through tackles. Where some guys, kind of have that natural physicality of They could be kind of like coasting and be able to break off of tackles or going at half speed. Abanikanda, I didn't really see that out of him in Pittsburgh, especially in 2022. He's got to be going pretty much full speed. Also, the finishing of his runs is inconsistent. There's a number of runs where he stopped cold. And for a guy with his kind of size profile, where he's a little thicker, a little stouter, you think he's a more powerful back than he really is. I talked about it in the Chase Brown video. About you look at that quickness and speed combination, and you think he's more dynamic of an open field runner and a make-you-miss guy and more agile and better lateral quickness than he really has. Here with Abanikanda, when you look at his size and skill profile, you think you see a much more physical runner than you actually get. And to me, he's not as scheme versatile. Like there are some backs, you look at him and you say, they're going to fit most any scheme. You're going to find a way to be able to make them fit. He might be restricted to some type of zone blocking, one read system where it's one cut and go. And that might have to be the way you unleash him. And that might be the ultimate key for success. And I went to the Wayback Machine a little bit for the NFL comparison. But as I thought about it, and I even went back and watched, because as I was watching Abanikanda, I said, who does he remind me of? And I said, I think I know. Olandis Gary. And some of you are going to be like, why would you go that far fucking back? Why would you make that obscure of a reference? But I look at Olandis Gary, right, especially early on in his Denver days. He had that 1,000-yard season in Denver because he was in a good situation and a system that fit his skills. Similar type of build and size profile to Abanikanda. But you got him outside of that system and you look for him to do more, and it didn't really go well. Now, there are other factors that play there, certainly, but my point is I could see a similar type of thing for Abanikanda, similar to what you had, remember, years back with Steve Slayton when he was in Houston. He had one great season, and you really didn't hear shit from him after that. That's a type of career I could see an Abanikanda having. Now, in the right system, like I said, where you get him the opportunity to get downhill and get some momentum, this guy could be a top 3 or 4 running back in this class. He really could be. But if he's in the wrong system and he's in the wrong fit and his utilization is poor, he might be riding somebody's bench and be inactive most game days. I put a 4th round grade on him because that quickness and speed is tantalizing. Talking about as a pass catcher, I think there is more there in terms of his pass catching skills and what he can bring in the passing game. But there's certainly some work that needs to be done here. He's got to learn to calm down, to be a little more patient. He also needs that right scheme fit because that's going to be so important. If he gets that scheme fit, though, watch out. Abanikanda could be a force. If he doesn't, he's going to be out of the league real quick.